So I thought a bit more about my issues regarding college, and after thinking about it, I realized that for one, I definitely overcomplicated the issue and then overstressed it more than I needed to. Not saying that college isn't an important thing to think about, but it's definitely not like a crazy big deal that I should like get super worked up over. Because knowing me, I can definitely procrastinate and make up a BS solution at the last minute and figure out everything on my own in a stressed timeline. But I realized like I've recently been getting like pissed off and on edge for like no reason, and I'm trying to like find the root. And I thought college was the root of the issue, but I realized college is part of the issue, and that the real issue is more related to other things. It's like a broad category that I like to call the passion project per se, and basically, for context, for like the past or a while back, I started like this great changing phase where I kind of like stopped doing things that wasted my time, like video games and like social media. I kind of like refrained from the two of those, not like as a motivational journey per se. That was kind of like a background idea of it, but I really just got bored, so I just stopped doing like neither of those. So basically, I got rid of two non-productive things, and then I got in a massive abundance of free time. When you get a massive abundance of free time, you get really bored. So I'd say for at least a year, I've had like a massive free time that I've been bored. So what's ended up happening is when I'm bored, I ended up not doing anything productive with my time. So that is basically just as bad as playing video games or spending time on social media. So I started a unconscious mission to fill my boredom and free time with something productive to do. And of all the things that I could figure out, I decided I wanted to find a passion of which that will take up my free time for one thing, and then maybe in the background it could turn into some project that like took up a lot of time and took a lot of dedication and maybe became useful and helpful and maybe could help on college applications. That was like a background idea, but basically I wanted a passion that could, for one, be something productive and also just take up my free time. So I started the passion project mission, but the issue with finding a passion project is you have to find a passion, which is a lot more difficult than it seems, because a lot of the times you hear these stories where like this one guy just like, oh, I always had a passion for this, and then they work on something like that, and then it becomes a really big thing, and that's the only reason you hear about it, because it became big in the first place. They just say the same thing. They're like, oh, I had this passion and I just worked on it. So I don't have that exact passion. I can like work on stuff and like force myself to do something, but I don't actually have like a passion for anything in particular. So I created this issue called the passion project, and the reason this like annoys me so much, like I shouldn't have to be annoyed, and I think it's a good thing that I am, because most people aren't regarding this at all. A lot of people can just like play video games or waste time on social media, and they won't care at all about like where their time goes. And realistically, I don't know, they'll just like figure it out. At some point, they'll like stop doing either, and then I guess like turn to doing something productive. But like I've gotten rid of those two like things, so I've just reached a point where I have free time, and I don't have to stress about something to do with my free time. I don't have to be like, oh, I need to do something productive right now. I don't have to do that. I can just waste my time, but I don't want to. This is a choice of mine, just to do something productive with my time, and the first option I think of is just a passion project. So that's just what's happened in my brain, and it's just what's pissing me off every day. I like end up having some point of free time where I just don't have anything to do, and then I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? And then I just don't have anything, and it just annoys me a lot. But I really don't know where to start, because finding a passion is like such a generic idea that you don't really have an idea of where to start. And like I don't actually like, there's no process of this really. I think my mom suggested just like trial and error. You just like freaking try random things and figure out what your passion is. That seems really exhausting and tedious. So I don't know. I'm sure there's like plenty of other options just to like work on this, try that. But for one, I'm not the type to just dive into something and like that I don't have any familiarity with, just like doing something completely random for the heck of it and just like assuming or like trying it out for no reason. Like I'm not opposed to trying something new. I'm so down to just like try something new, but like I don't know, the ideas that get suggested to me just don't seem, for one, like realistically worth anything per se, and also just like I don't know if I'd actually find any enjoyment out of that. Also, another big issue is like when I'm trying to find a passion, the background idea was that it would help me for like the future in terms of like a career path or a college application, which is why this issue is related to college and related to what pisses me off like all the time. But the issue is when you try to think of passions that help in college, it's really limited because you could say your passion is video games, say you played a lot of video games, and that doesn't get you any value. So like the only passions I've seen that got people value are like a CS passion where like, oh, I'm so passionate in CS, I made this app, and then that app is so cool, and then that's useful in terms, it helps on a college application, it's probably helpful in terms of like a future career path as well. So in that case, that's like a great scenario. It's a useful passion, and I could do something like that if I wanted to, but I don't know, I'm reluctant to try anything because I don't want to dive into something and then realize it sucks, and then just like realize I wasted more time even though I'm already wasting time. But basically I'm at a standstill where I'm too reluctant to do really anything. And like, it's a good thing that I'm thinking about this, obviously better than others, but like it's just still annoying that it's there, and I have this mass abundance of free time, and I have the idea, I have everything I need, I have the mindset and all that good stuff, but I don't have the actual target of what I want to do with my free time. So in the end, it's just time going down the drain and nothing to do with it, and like everything else doesn't really seem much use to me. So I'm really just completely bored out of my mind because over resting is definitely a waste of time. But anyway, this isn't really like a persuasive argument, it's me ranting about my issues, but that's about it. Hopefully I can find a passion. I think the first thing I'm going to do is definitely read nonfiction books, because everything starts with researching, or that's really the start or the root of my issues. I need to like freaking get out of my shell and like research stuff and like take initiative, do something, probably like researching, getting more knowledge, because knowledge is important. But I don't know, I guess first step is probably reading a book or something, researching more, but I don't know, I'll figure it out eventually.